Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Don't go away. We have a very special guest from Summerwood Sports Complex and how that's being used to impact children right here in Central Arkansas. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and on this show we have a guest who's been with us at least once before, and David Hendricks Jr.
Yes, sir.
And David, it's probably been 6 months ago, we had I think it was your sister.
Cousin. Yeah, there's a lot of us, so I don't know how you keep it straight.
She is or was kind of the public relations.
That's correct, yes, sir.
We were asking all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
Some people may not know who David Hendricks Jr. is, but we do. And I personally know your dad, your uncle, your cousin.
Yes, sir.
I think. Do you have a sister?
I have a sister. I got lots of cousins, 2 sisters, and a brother. So there's a lot of us.
I had lunch with your dad and Wally Pollock, a mutual friend of all of us, and your sister. And we were talking about Second Chance Youth Ranch. David, as you know, because you've been on the show before, this show is all about fostering, mentoring, adopting, engaging our Arkansas audience and people around the United States that watch this online to how they can get involved in changing the lives of children that are in what we call in care or in foster care, and how they can make connections where they can either serve, mentor, adopt, donate, all kinds of things. So we like having you guys on because you guys, your whole family is very, I'm going to use a big word, if I can pronounce it, philanthropic.
Well done.
Much so that let me kind of lay some groundwork here. And if it gets too personal, that's too bad because we're live.
That's right.
Okay? And we don't edit.
I won't punch you or anything.
So give me a Hawaiian punch. Your dad and your uncle Doug, your dad David Sr., we were all Safeway guys. And didn't realize over the years that we kind of have made a connection through fostering, mentoring, adoption, and through Second Chance Youth Ranch. So your dad and your uncle Doug founded Big Red.
Yes,
can you tell me, because you're young, did they found it? You must have been a child.
I was younger. I'm getting older now. We turned 26 years old this year. When, as you may know, the company is sold now. The stores have sold. But yeah,
where was the original Big Red?
Well, Dad and Doug actually bought a group of stores that had the name. So someone started it, but there were some stores in Malvern, some in Little Rock.
I used to, because I built homes all through Chenal, St. Charles, St. Michael's, and I always pulled into Big Red, and I used the telephone, the pay phone, and call in, hey, I need some lumber over here, you know, and then I'd run in and get me a Slurpee or a Coke or something like that, and I used to see Doug in there, and I always thought because it was Big Red, he was probably a former Razorback player. Was he?
No, you know, the store, some of the original stores did have a Razorback on them.
Yeah, and
we took those down.
That was an issue, probably.
Yeah, before the university came and got us. Yeah, and then my mom's redheaded and I'm redheaded. I got that in high school.
Kind of like the Dave Woodman thing.
Exactly, Big Red. But no, the name did predate my dad and uncle buying the stores, but it's a great connection with the Razorbacks and the catchy name, so they just kept it. It worked.
There may be some viewers, and when we talk about we were Safeway guys, they're like, what?
Right.
Safeway at one time was the largest grocer in the world, I
think.
Big
time, yeah.
I even had an opportunity as a Safeway employee to go to Saudi Arabia if I wanted to.
Crazy,
and because they had Safeways there. And over a period of years, wages going so high and profit going so low that Safeway in our region, all throughout the central part of the United States, started shutting down. And it's out of Oakland, California. And your dad and uncle were a part of that. And then as it began to fade away from Arkansas, they bought some convenience stores.
Yeah, they made the switch to Harvest Foods when they took over and did that for a while. And Dad and Uncle always joked they started the stores because they needed a job. Harvest Foods went away. Like you said, same factors made grocery store business. So they were out of a job. I remember that summer. And me and my brother were out of school. We would just go over to my uncle's house, and he'd go upstairs, and they would try to come up with ideas, and that's what they kind of settled on.
That's how Big Red came to be.
Yeah.
So that was 20-some years. How old are you, if you don't mind?
I am 30, turned 37 last week. Yes,
so
sir.
you would have been 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, yep.
And so you had the opportunity as a young guy to literally watch a small business just blossom.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And that is so cool.
It was fun. It was fun. It's you get older, you appreciate just how hard my dad and uncle worked to make it happen. All the people that helped them.
You're telling me people that are successful have to work hard?
Well, a lot of people work hard.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get blessed, and that's what I've learned growing up. You're right. They worked really hard, but a lot of people work really hard, and it doesn't work out for them. So I think they would be the first to tell you they had a lot of people help them, and we're very blessed by God that their work. There were lean times. There were times where a break here and there could have made it, but we were very fortunate. Yes, sir.
Yeah, very few businesses are successful.
Yeah.
And, the founder of Holiday Inn said many years ago that we've all quoted, when you own your own business, you only have to work half days. Do you want to work the first 12 hours or the second 12 hours?
Yeah.
But a lot of people work hard. Then we have those sayings, it's not about working hard, it's about working smart.
Yeah.
But it's really a combination of all that.
Yes, sir. It is.
In the ministry, a lot of people are tremendous speakers, orators. They're just not very good administrators. They have big dreams, but they don't know how to manage and implement. But you've got to see your family, who are faith-based Christian folks, take a dream and an idea and watch it from, I guess, your age, adolescence, to just watch it grow and grow and grow and grow. Now, your Uncle Doug, was he the one who was building the stores? And
no, well,
was he the visionary? Who's the visionary?
When you were just talking about it, it made sense. My dad always says that him and my uncle started going in business when they were 10 and 8 years old, mowing yards. That's what they did. So they've really worked together their whole life. They have a great relationship, kind of unique, for brothers to work like that. Yeah. And Doug is the one that managed he's the finance guy, could manage the money. And he always says he managed money, my dad spent the money. But they really they complement each other extremely well and work really well. They're both really they're the hardest working guys I know, the smartest guys I know, and they just have a great relationship, and it worked out. Yes, sir.
So you're married.
Yes, sir.
And your dad tells me that he still goes to the Small Baptist Church on Alcoa Road, where he gave his life to the Lord as a teenager, and he's still there.
Yeah, he is.
I drove by that church yesterday twice.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated that he's still involved in the church where he started his faith as a Christian.
Pretty neat. It is. And it's a neat church. It's a church I grew up first 25 years alive. Marcus Blakely's was my pastor my whole life, still the pastor there.
He's still there?
Still there. And
wow, that's rare.
It is. And just a great place with great people. Yes, sir.
And then you met a girl, got married, and she drew you off, and you backslid to where?
I did. I'm at First Baptist Church in Bryant now.
Well, you're doing good if you're at First Baptist.
All the way down the road in Bryant.
Now, First Baptist in Bryant's on Highway 5.
That's correct.
Y'all just built a building.
We have a really nice building over there, yes, sir.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back and find out more about faith, your family, your marriage, if you got kids, and how you can be involved in foster care. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
A mission field around you is filled with young hearts needing a forever family. And at Second Chance Youth Ranch, our team is committed to providing healthy, stable, loving homes and families to hurting children in the Arkansas foster care system and those up for adoption. Please contact us if you feel the tug at your heart to help foster or adopt, and find out the steps you could take to help fulfill a child's lifelong dream. Maybe you can't foster or adopt, but you could help. The need for thousands of children in the system is staggering. But with the help of faithful partners and business alliances, we are meeting those needs right now. Would you help us make a difference? Every gift, regardless of size, impacts a child's life directly and helps provide for a home in the gap right now. Visit the Second Chance Youth Ranch website at 2CYR.org to read more, watch the stories, and to make a contribution for a hurting child's care. Monthly partners are needed, so please contact us right away. And as you partner with this ministry, you are partnering with the Heavenly Father that has promised to be Father to the fatherless. God bless you for helping Second Chance Youth Ranch.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. On this show, we have a very special guest, formerly with Big Red,
yes, sir.
But now with Summerwood Sports.
Yes, sir.
Do we call it a sports complex?
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it, I'd say. We have a new facility here we built in Bryant, and right now it's 2 gyms comprised, and we're calling it, we call it gyms, and people are like, is that where you go work out or run on a treadmill?
You're talking about gymnasiums where you play ball.
Yes, sir. It's a sports complex is the best way to describe it, yes, sir.
David, I had an opportunity just a couple of weeks ago to go over with your dad and Wally Pollock, our friend, and go into the gym. And I'm just looking at this beautiful 12,000 square foot gym, just one of the 2. And I looked at your dad and I said, okay, why does a guy get up one day with his brother and his family and say, let's build a couple of gyms?
Yeah, right.
And of course, this makes perfect sense because I have 7 grandchildren.
Yeah.
He said, well, my oldest grandson is 10.
Yeah.
And we found through our grandchildren being involved in sports in Saline County, there's a shortage of gymnasiums. I said, so y'all just got together and decided to build a couple of gyms? Because they are beautiful.
Thank you.
Summerwood Sports.
Yeah.
And just for the community.
Yeah, yeah.
And talking to your dad, man, it just fires me up because he's been very, very successful along with your family. But they're so focused is how can we improve our community?
Yeah.
And he's focused on helping the kids.
Right.
And man, you get me fired up when we start talking about that.
No doubt.
Now we ended the last segment talking about, just threw out there that you got a girlfriend, you got married, and you left your daddy's church.
I know. Yeah.
And you ended up at First Baptist in Bryant. Can you tell me, because I drive down Highway 5 all the time.
Right.
One day I'm driving down there and I see them clearing a lot. And next thing I know, they're raising a building.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's just full.
Right. Yes,
Where did First Baptist Bryant come from?
Well, I think and again, I'm coming in a little bit late in the game, but they had a building on Reynolds Road in Bryant forever. I think
there
in that
you
area,
go.
yes, sir, on the corner there, right by the Bryant High School. And
right there on the corner.
Yes, sir.
You know, I moved to Bryant. You can interview me if you want. I moved to Bryant in 1986, and I turned at that school and went down past the high school to this brand new neighborhood called Richardson Place.
Yep.
We were the 6th or 7th person to buy in there. And I said, how much are those lots? They told me $17,000. I said, they have lost their mind. Curtis Ferguson.
That's right, yep.
And the second time I bought a lot in there, it was $33,000.
Yeah.
I said, I've lost my mind.
That's right.
And now I've watched Bryant grow from 4,000 people to about 30,000.
Yeah.
And that's the church. That's his First Baptist.
It's First
They're
Baptist.
on Highway 5.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yep.
Well, see, the things you learn on this show.
Yep.
So the young lady that you met, did y'all grow up in Bryant together?
No, didn't know her. It was a long story. I was just a single loser, and my cousin felt sorry for me and found this girl that she knew from back in school. And
would you date a loser?
She dated
said
a loser. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She found someone who was really desperate and caught her at the right time before she met somebody better.
Where is she from?
She's a Bryant girl.
And you?
Yeah, I was Benton. I went to Benton High School. Yes,
oh,
sir.
man.
The
Salt Bowl in
Romeo
your own
and
home.
Juliet, yeah, whatever it is. So, but no, it's been a fun ride.
How long y'all been married?
8 years this year. So,
8 years.
Yes, sir.
So in 8 years, that gives you the ability to have 8 kids.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind that pace. We've got 2 children right now.
Only 2. My daughter has 5.
Mercy. Yeah, I don't know if we'll make it. We're getting old. We're old parents, but we have 2 beautiful little girls. Yes, sir.
All right, so tell me, since we've kind of danced around this whole program, tell me about what role has faith played in your life, your family, your heritage, and what role does it play now as y'all are established in Summerwood Sports?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the right answer is supposed to be you put it through the lens that you make all your decisions and the way you look at life. I wish that was the truth always, but I think that's the goal at least. That's the focus. And my dad will tell you he had great examples in his life. His dad preached occasionally growing up as a man of God's Word, and my grandma was a great example, going to church into her 80s until the last couple weeks of her life. And so we had that example, and then my dad and mom had that example and were a great example for us.
So you grew up going to church?
Grew up going to church.
Tell me about your salvation experience. Were you in elementary school, at church, at Vacation Bible School?
Right. No, I was in church, and it's another great example of just my parents. I remember we had someone, I think it was a baptism service, and I asked my mom, what was that about? I'm getting questions. I'd grown up in church and knew the Sunday school stories, knew that David killed Goliath and Jesus went on the cross, but didn't really know what all that was about until then. So just had great examples and great teaching growing up, and just came up together at the right moment.
And your dad gave his life, I think he told me at 17, at Forest Hills Baptist on Alcoa. Mm-hmm. And then all these years later, you did the same thing at the same church.
Same thing, same church.
Same pastor?
No, I think different pastor at that time. Brother Mark, I think Blakely came there shortly after I was born. So I always told him he was the best and worst preacher I'd ever had.
You're the best preacher the best pastor I've ever had.
But no, he was a great influence on my life. Still is a great influence to our family, and just a real great man of God.
Yeah. So faith plays a role in what you are doing now as a family?
I think that's what we try to do, and I always get nervous saying I'm a Christian because, that's the goal, I think. That's, what you're trying to do.
Because people know you.
Right, that's right, because then you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
But I think so. Just be community-minded, and just realizing that God's blessed you for a reason beyond your personal satisfaction and enjoyment. You're supposed to use
for people that are watching by now, it's 11:15, 11:20 at night. That's the only reason they'd be up is because God's stirring their hearts. What is a Christian? We're not perfect, are we?
Right.
We're just people that
I hope you don't have to be. I hope you don't have to be perfect to be a Christian.
We'd be all at the creek, wouldn't we?
I had a professor in school who described that was his guiding light. It was like business has a mission statement that guides their decision making, and I thought that was a cool way to put it because that's what. Man, I'm not going to do it every day. Most days I'm not, but that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And I think that's a good way to look at it. We're trying to act like Christ and try to share His love with others.
So a guy growing up at church still needs to ask Jesus into his heart.
I think so, man. I need a lot of church, and I need a lot of, and I realize that if I didn't have God in my heart, I was not going to spend eternity in heaven.
So did they dip you?
I got dipped real good. I was real nervous.
I was hesitant. I was afraid they'd hold me under.
I was nervous, man. Yeah. My preacher didn't give any reason, but my brother and I were baptized on the same night.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a cool night, and still means a lot to me. But yes, sir. Yeah.
I wanted to be baptized in a river.
Yeah.
And I wanted to swim over the river, sit under a tree, and talk to Jesus. And I was so disappointed but excited that I got baptized at a church in a baptistry.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a brief break. We'll be right back with David and tell you how you can get involved in changing lives through foster care.
I've been in foster care since I was 5 for 10 years. I'm just getting tired of moving to different places every year and stuff. It gets annoying after a while. My name is Datavius and I'm 15. Sometimes I like playing basketball and football, and in my free time I like to play Fortnite and probably Madden, and when I'm not doing anything I just like sleeping. I go to a day treatment because it's not really a school. One thing I don't like about going to that school is we gotta wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is early. I want to sell cars. My favorite car is Mercedes, so that's what I want to sell. Well, what I think it means is we're a family takes you in their care, and then I guess you live with them. I would like to stay in contact with my siblings, and also mainly just have a good time with them. I wouldn't mind living in the country, and I do like animals. My favorite animal is a dog, I don't really care much for cats. I would wish to live in a home with my siblings for the rest of our time and not have to be split up again.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. As I always say in the opening of this segment, I know those videos are touching your heart. That's the purpose of them, is so that you can actually see and hear the stories directly from children. And we're so thankful for Project Zero sharing those with us so we can share them with you. David, we can't show children that are in our care. We've got 64 now. November, we'll open up a brand new home in Benton. We'll have 6 more kids.
Wow.
So by November 2023, we'll have about 70 children in our care 24/7 because I don't have anything to do. Unlike you guys at Summerwood Sports.
Right. Yeah.
Big Red has been sold out to Circle K. You guys have made a transition, your whole family now, with a new foundation.
Yeah.
Tell me in your own words, why Summerwood Sports? What's the objective? What's the mission statement?
Yeah. For Summerwood Sports, I think like you touched on earlier, is to help the community. There's a need for facilities like that for people who have, organizations or teams or just want to have private practice sessions, and we're hoping to fill that void here in Saline County.
You guys have 2 full-scale 12,000 square foot gymnasiums.
Yeah.
Right off Highway 5.
Yes, sir.
And is that Alexander?
It is technically Alexander, yes,
City
sir.
of Bryant.
Yeah.
And you have plans to build a 3rd gymnasium, which is going to be larger.
That's our plan, to have our showcase gymnasium, yes, sir.
And that'll be really nice.
We're excited about that. Yeah.
I don't know how it can be nicer than the one that I went in.
We appreciate it. It's going to be bigger and a few more amenities, so we're excited about that.
And I asked your dad, I said, so what about, are you thinking of ball fields as well?
Right.
Is that still under discussion?
I think so. We have we've been fortunate enough to get all that land over there and have some opportunities.
You got like 35 acres or something.
Yes, sir. So quite a bit of space to develop. And
when we say ball fields, are we talking soccer?
I think it's whatever, soccer, baseball,
softball.
There's some land and,
anything that kids do, y'all trying to help make it possible.
Pickleball's the big deal now. So we had some pickleball going on over there this morning, so whatever you can think of. Yes,
at Arkansas Christian Academy just a couple of weeks ago, I'm walking through our gym, which is not large enough. We're going to build another one in 2023, 2024. And but one of my teachers is over there, and she's marking stuff out on the floor. And I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Pickleball."
Yeah, we just put lines down for it. It's a big deal.
And like you, I have no idea about pickleball, except it's like tennis or ping pong without a table.
There you go. That's the best way to say it.
And you don't have to run like you do in tennis.
Yes, sir.
It's sweeping the nation.
It is like wildfire. Yeah.
So faith plays a big role. Tell us, how did y'all become involved in fostering, mentoring, adoption, Second Chance Youth Ranch?
Right. Well, like we said, there's people out in your life that come in there for a reason, and I think Wally being a great friend of my dad. And
when you did that, you were motioning that Wally is offset.
There's a stranger offset now.
Yeah. Beware of strangers, that's for sure.
They could be good or bad, but Wally, I think, has been a good friend of my dad and uncles for a long time. And
all the way back to the Safeway years.
Yep, and just brought this program to us, and that's a neat thing about living in a community. You get to learn programs and things that you didn't even know that were going on in the background, and I think touched my dad and uncle's hearts.
On a regular basis, I have people like your family. And I see people in the community, and they say, "We love what you're doing to help kids." And I say, I also pastor a church.
Right.
They say, "We don't love you that much."
That's right.
And one of the things that God has done through Second Chance Youth Ranch, in spite of the fact that I pastor a church, in spite of the fact we have a Christian school with 520 kids here today, people look beyond doctrine and theology and all that and say, you know what? Let's help kids. And here's a guy that we know in our community.
Yeah.
When I left Bible school in 1975 in Dallas, Texas, and moved back to Central Arkansas, I always wrestled with, because I wanted to be a missionary.
Yeah.
Why would God send me back home?
Right.
But I graduated Central High School in 1970. Because I was so smart, I took the 9th grade twice, or I would have graduated in 1969. Teachers loved me so much. Let's do that.
Let's do it again.
Let's keep him and do this again.
Right. Yeah.
And And I realize now, because of the type of ministry we have, that it's good to be homegrown.
No doubt.
You can trace me all the way back when I was 14 and moved into the Methodist Children's Home in the mid-1960s. And people say, we love what you're doing to help kids. You've had such a big impact and positive impact in the community. And that's really only possible because of friends like you.
Right.
And we're excited about what God's doing in foster care, making an impact through all the wonderful ministries throughout this state. And there are many.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think we're in our collaboration with One Child Arkansas, about 27 or 28 organizations all working together now. And one of the purposes of this show is to expose to the community throughout the state and the viewing audience of Victory Television Network that, hey, Christians do work together.
Yeah.
And Jesus has made a difference in all of our lives.
For sure.
Over and over and over. We have water baptism here the fourth Sunday of every month, and I see my foster children getting born again and being baptized like you and I were. That's pretty cool.
It is.
Why should anybody watching, we only have a couple of minutes, why should anybody watching why should they consider contacting Second Chance Ranch or The Call or any other organization in Arkansas that's making a difference in foster care?
Well, I think you could give better reasons than I could, but I think the reason we do it is just, God's, calling to help kids, young people.
Pretty important to the Lord?
I would say so. Jesus made time to spend time with children, and just to think that we've been blessed for a reason. We had a great home. Let's do that for other people. Yeah. God expects us to. We have a responsibility to do that for other people.
Well, it blesses me. I'll walk into the church and some of our foster children come up to me and hug me. Or I walk through the foyer like I did yesterday, and little kids sitting there waiting to either wash their hands or get a drink of water in our preschool. Hey, Pastor Perry. Hey, Pastor Perry. And it just blesses me. Walked into church Sunday, and a little boy, he's 4, and he's sitting with his parents. He says, can I come sit with you? And I asked him, I said, aren't you going to children's ministry? He said, after we worship. And he stood beside me on the front row and just worshiped with me while he was holding his truck. That's what we want for kids in foster care. Yeah. We want them to experience a family, the love of a mom and a dad. And when they come into the care at Second Chance Youth Ranch, we don't consider them foster kids anymore. We consider them ours. Our director behind the camera over here, just this weekend, his daughter had a birthday, and there is his foster daughter, who's African American, and he is not.
Right.
And he's got her with her baby boy, and his 2 girls, and his wife and him. That's what fostering is all about. They become a part of our life forever.
Yeah, pretty neat.
And we want you to be involved. If you want more information about fostering, mentoring, and adopting, there's opportunities for you, your civic group, your church group to be involved, for you personally to be involved. And if there's nothing else you can do because of extenuating circumstances, one thing you can do, pray for all of us involved in fostering in the state of Arkansas. And we'll see you next week right here at Second Chance Youth Ranch. Bye-bye.